Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TARDIS Zone Talks, a special TARDIS Zone Talks, because we are here to discuss the behaviour of the fandom the last 5 years and how that's had an effect on the Doctor Who fandom. Now, if you want to take part and you would like to come on and share your experience, your story, uh, please let me know in the chat. If I already have your email, I will send you an email. Also, just to make clear, as I did say and promised, this stream is not monetized. This stream will not be monetized. I will not be making any money off it. No financial gain whatsoever. The reason for that is because this is a subject and a topic that is very close to my heart. And as I said, we've got to discuss what impact all of this nonsense has had on the fandom. So we got 11 people watching right now. I don't see anybody in the chat. So remember, this only works, guys, if you come on and share your story. But I'll just give you a little update of what's happening with me on social media at the moment. So as you know, the centenary specials air date and time have now been officially released. And the premiere was a couple of nights ago. And there was a couple of fans in the fandom that were trying to shitstorm, as they usually do in the fandom. And I called them out for it. Because we've had enough of this nonsense of people, shitstorming. Now, I've often done it myself, I'm not going to lie. But when you make blatant statements about how it was iconic that Jodie Whittaker basically belittled fans, of course there's going to be a reaction to that tweet, right? Obviously, this person knew what they were doing. But anyway, I reacted to it along with a lot of other people, right? But the difference is that because I reacted to it, I started noticing that I was getting a lot of attention from the other side of the fandom. Now, this hasn't happened in a while. So today, I go on to Twitter and I find my good old friend, Billy Who, has been going around telling everybody, oh, apparently I heard Noel Zones going around bullying people. Apparently you heard. Right? So he puts this tweet up. And now I've actually put it together. Now I know why I've been getting all of these J-bots coming to me account and trying to dogpile on me and trying to harass me off the platform because of people like Billy who cannot keep their nose out of my business. Now, it was explained that I called out people that were shitstorming, but I don't see you calling out them, but you're calling out me for bullying them, but yet they're the ones that are causing shit in the fandom. I'm not bullying anybody, right? It's the other way around. And thanks to you and probably others out there, Billy, making false accusations against me, sent a mob to my Twitter account. And this has been going on for the past couple of days now. Actually, a couple of weeks, I have to say. I've sent some private messages to people that I know. They've seen the disgusting things that have been said about me. Right? So, look, again, it's starting up again. This is why I thought it was important that we talk about mental health situation in this fandom. There are fans out there that think that they can dictate how fans feel, think, and how they can speak in the fandom. If you don't like the way I put my opinions across, I don't give two craps. I really don't. At the end of the day, you are the people that choose to go into my Twitter account, spy on my Twitter account, and retweet my tweets, right? As I said, all I ever do is put up my opinions. Yeah. If you don't like the things that I have to say on social media, yeah, as I said, you don't have to listen. Now, Billy has tried to have me Twitter account taken down. He's tried to have me YouTube channel taken down. Now, he's not the only one. Over the last 4 or 5 years, we've had several people, high-profile people in the fandom too, try to use the same tactics. See, these people won't do their own dirty work, right? They know by retweeting me, it's going to get a reaction. And that's exactly why they do it. They won't get their own hands dirty because they're a bunch of cowards. And that goes for Mr. TARDIS as well. He does the same thing as well. Mr. TARDIS, Billy Who, all of these others, right? And we've even got some so-called friends that we used to have that are now talking to that side, which I never had a problem with, but now liking tweets of these people slagging me off or people saying, oh, no, got pigeoned and all of this crap, right? Now, this has been going on a very, very long time, and this is just what's been happening to me, right? Now, we also know that other people, because they know me, have been also affected by all of this. It's an absolute disgrace that these fans can keep going around gatekeeping in the fandom, keep pointing the finger at me and others out there and saying that we're doing the bullying and harassing, yet they're the ones that are retweeting me tweets knowing that I'm going to get bullied and harassed, and then wipe their hands of it and then act as if they don't know what's going on, right? So here's the thing. If any of you idiots out there, yeah, want to talk to me or say shit about me, well then you either unblock me, come onto me channel and discuss it like an adult, right? Or just shut the fuck up. Simple as that, right? Because I'm sick and tired of you guys telling this fandom that I'm this, that, and the other, right? Everything that you are saying is a blatant lie, right? You just don't like me, right? Because I happen to have a different opinion. And you don't like me because my channel has grown and because we've built up an audience, and you don't like the fact that people like listening to what I have to say. It's a bit of jealousy, even though some of you have bigger channels and stuff like that. Some of my views are even better than some of your views on your channel because you are actually crap content creators. Simple as that. If you're going to throw dirt at me and throw shade at me, I'm going to throw it back. At the end of the day, all yous are is a bunch of cowards. Not one of yous has had, over the past 4 or 5 years, have had the decency or the balls to come onto my channel when I've asked yous to come on. Not one. Right? You just want to spew yous are crap about me. Right? But I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. We have seen some women in this fandom, women that we know, that have been harassed and bullied by some of these accounts out there, and mostly male accounts, by the way. Male accounts that go on all over social media and say that they support women's rights. Right? These are the very same people that also say they support Black Lives Matter, but have no problem with throwing no problem with throwing Noel Clarke under a bus for alleged crimes, which the police have said that there's nothing to investigate. Right? These are the same people that support LGBTQ plus rights, but yeah, had no problem throwing John Barrowman under a bus. Right? They're hypocrites, every single one of them. And they're going around, they're bullying, harassing, sending threats to people in this fandom, and it's having an effect on people's mental health. We've seen Melina being dogpiled. There are other women out there whose names I won't mention because they don't like the names being mentioned. But Melina has told her story across other channels as well, including here. Dogpiled. Right? Friends that I even know that and friends that I've even gotten back talking to on this platform and on all the other platforms have been bullied in recent weeks and sent death threats. Right? And one of those reasons was because an actress off She-Hulk didn't like what we had to say. She said that this genre forgot people and neglected people. And I asked her a simple question. Who? Right? And she said the show was written for those people. So I said, so it wasn't written for the people that actually matter, the fans. And then she came out with this thing that it forgot people. The genre forgot people. The genre didn't forget people. The people that are fans of She-Hulk and all these comics are the ones that actually went and read comics and watched the show, right? And they didn't like the show, right? The problem is, I said this yesterday, the problem with Hollywood and beyond is that they're trying to make all of these shows appeal to everybody. But what they don't realize is that these are specialized shows. They're set in their own little niches, right? The people that like Doctor Who will watch Doctor Who, right? The people that like Star Wars will watch Star Wars. Same with Star Trek, right? Same thing. The franchise didn't forget anybody. The fans that these franchises have are the fans that love these shows with a passion. Now you're trying to make it accessible to everybody, right? Which, in fair enough, you could try do, but you will see that if you do that, you're neglecting the people that actually care about these characters. They don't care about the nonsense that these other fans care about, which is the sexuality or the gender or whether they're binary or non-binary or whatever their pronouns are, right? That's not what real fans care or worry about, right? They care and worry about stories, character development. Okay? This is what's wrong with Hollywood. But anyway, as I said, this doesn't work unless people want to come on and tell their stories, give us your experiences, because I can't speak for anybody really on this. I can tell you what people have said has happened to them, but it'd be better if there are actually people that have been through this. If you're willing to come on and share your story, let me know in the chat. I'll bring you on. But look, you've all seen what I've been put through. You've all seen what the likes of Daniel, Charlotte, and others have had to go through in this fandom. And why? Why? Right? And this is the big question. Why? And the answer is simple. It's because we have different opinions on the TV show to these fans. Right? Now listen to that again. It's because we have different opinions to this vocal minority, right? And that's why we get all this abuse over a TV show for having a different opinion, because we decided to have independent thought and have our own mind, right? So that's why we're being harassed, bullied, gaslit, labelled, sent death threats, family members being attacked, people have been doxxed in this fandom, false allegations made against people to try take them down, people spreading rumors about you on Twitter and other YouTubers doing hit pieces on you. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Mr. TARDIS. Right? Like, I mean, if I did a hit piece on him, right? I mean, a proper hit piece on him, he'd be crying and he'd have YouTube take down the video. How come he could get away with doing hit pieces on everybody in this fandom is beyond me. He's one of the worst, vilest creatures in this fandom, right? I've heard some stories. There are people now that are not present on social media anymore because of all of what's going on. Noel, you specifically pushed the justice for Noel. Cruel women do not deserve that. 20 women, you know. Well, let me actually answer that, right? Because I knew we were going to have some anti-Noel Clarke people in the chat. But let me actually put that up and answer your question, right? Because I've no problem. And if there's any other Jodie Whittaker fans out there or whatever that want to say something, you're more than welcome to come in. I've already told me moderators, unless there's people actually being nasty, not to remove, right? So if you have a question, you can come in and ask. I don't care. So you said, Noel, you specifically pushed the justice for Noel. cruel, so women do not deserve that. 20 women, you know. Okay, let me get to that. No crime by these alleged 20 victims was reported to the police. This has been verified by 4 other detectives. The police themselves have come out and said that there will be no investigation into these claims. Another thing, the Guardian lied when they reported that the police were actually investigating Noel Clarke, because as I just pointed out a few seconds ago, no investigation was ever carried out. Now, these 20 alleged victims, right, didn't go to the police, right? A few of the alleged victims decided that they'd go to the Guardian newspaper and then say that there were other women involved, and they only found out through these other people, right? So no investigation was ever carried out. Now, I don't know what kind of plank believes in the media over the law of the land. The law of the land has said that Noel Clarke is innocent, right? The media is not judge, jury, and executioner, right? The Guardian newspaper has a lot to actually answer for, because they lied in their original headline when they said that Noel Clarke was being investigated. Noel Clarke was not being investigated. And again, this kind of does all wrap up with this mental health thing, because Noel Clarke, because of that article, his mental health has taken a smash. Anybody that supports Noel Clarke is being called an SA, or an SP, I should say. You know what I'm trying to say? You can't say the word on it, right? But anybody that supports Noel Clarke is a supporter of a SP, right? Absolute nonsense. Go and read the article. Go and read the investigation done by John DeWhite in this fandom. Go and listen to Noel Clarke's little video. Go and even read Noel Clarke's article that he's done. Noel, I'll repeat again, right? In 40 years of Noel Clarke's life, not one crime has been reported against him, right? Not one crime. None of these alleged victims that went to the newspaper actually went to the police and said, hey, I want to report the crime. No, they went to the paper instead. And I would actually question, well, why did they go to the papers instead of going to the police? Okay? It smells rotten to me. And we've already seen a high-profile case out there where a woman defamed a man in a newspaper article. That famous case that everybody is talking about. And the woman turned out to be a lying piece of shit. Okay? So no, we don't believe all women. But if any woman out there has suffered at the hands of any sort of abuse, whether it be the S abuse or physical abuse or mental abuse, I would say go to the police. Do not go to the media. You go to the police if you have a crime to report. The media ain't the police. So I hope I've cleared that up. We're not here. Why? Listen, unknown. I'm not being disrespectful. But I don't want anybody. This is a mental health stream. This isn't about Doctor Who. So could you stop asking people about the animation or musical animation? This is about mental health. This is serious. Okay. So unless you've got anything to add about the topic of conversation, please don't say anything, because I'm being serious here. This is for mental health. It's not for anything else. The reason why the Noel Clarke stuff is relevant is because his mental health has taken a hit, and anybody that actually supports him is being attacked, is being called nasty names, and that's having an effect on people's mental health. I used to sub to you, used to have respect for you, but that is truthful. Do not mention your partner and story as a cover. I do not care for 13, but you cannot counter that story. It all happened. No, it didn't. Were you there? Were you there? Were you actually in the room when Noel Clarke did all of this stuff? Were you? Were you actually sitting there watching? And here's another thing I'll actually add to that, right? Because you think you're being a smart arse, right? So according to one of these women who's the major instigator in all of this, she's the one that went and told other women that Noel Clarke had photographs, right? And he had video, right? So where are these photographs and video? Yeah, plonk, right? If the police, right? So here's the thing as well, and you're an absolute plonk and I'll tell you why you're a plonk, because the police have a division that they're very good with technology. So even if you've deleted a video or deleted photographs, there's an imprint. You can prove that they were there, right? So if the police did an investigation on Noel Clarke, trust me, we would have the video, right? We'd have this alleged video and we'd have the alleged photographs. Your woman that's making the claims is an absolute liar. She was sacked, right? She's got her nose out of joint and she thought she'd go and tell all these other women, oh, listen, Noel has this, that, and the other. But none of them went to the police. Yeah, you cod yourself all you want. And I don't care if you used to subscribe to me, right? And now you kind of don't because of the opinions I have. Well, don't be here then. Don't be commenting. If you've unsubscribed, get the hell out. Simple as that. No crime, yeah, but they will push this soon, come, I promise. No, they won't. No, they won't. Because even after Noel Clarke had come out with the video to say that he accessed the Freedom of Information Act, not one of these alleged victims came out and said he was lying through his teeth. The Guardian didn't do a follow-up article to say that he's lying through his teeth. Noel isn't lying through his teeth. Noel is actually an innocent man. And this is plain and simple. This is plain and simple a witch hunt. Right? It's a witch hunt. So do you think over 20 women have lied? Right, I'll say it again to you because you seem to be a brain dead moron, right? Not one alleged victim went to the police. So if a crime actually happened, why would they be going to the media? They would go to the police, right? And again, as I told you, he accessed the Freedom of Information Act on himself. In 40 years, not one crime was reported. Verified by 4 detectives. He put that up on social media. Now, if he was lying and the 4 detectives in question seen that tweet or that Instagram post, they would have pulled him up on it and said he was lying. Open do you know what? You people are actually stupid in this fandom, right? That are still thinking that Noel Clarke is guilty. These are stupid because you are ignoring the logic. These are ignoring the facts. Oh, 20 women went crying to a newspaper article, so they've got to be telling the truth. Seriously, man, get a fucking grip. Right? I don't care 4.9%. Who cares with the statistics? Right? Who cares with the statistics, right? When they did look into it, they said there wasn't anything there, right? None of the crimes that they so-called reported reached the threshold. There's nothing. There's nothing, right? And these 20-odd women haven't opened their mouths since, okay? So, listen, you can think he's guilty all you want, okay? You can believe the media all you want, blah, 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 right? You're a tick. And no, we shouldn't believe all women. But if a woman does make a report, it should be listened to. It should be investigated. Due process should be done. And none of the alleged accusers should have their names dragged through the media or through the mud until there's an actual fucking crime. until they can actually prove that a crime was committed, no accuser's name should be put out there. They should be given due process just like the victim, alleged victim. I'm the minority here. No, I'm not. There's lots of people that believe, and by the way, we've gotten lots of support for it. There's actually hundreds of people out there that originally thought he was guilty. And after reading all the evidence and looking at all the facts, they have also come to the same conclusion to me that this is a witch hunt. Exactly. We've seen some of Amber Heard's tweets being messages and all being manipulated. It happens, right? If these are, look at the problem with Sasha and other people out there, right, is that they hate men so much, right, that they'll actually just believe everything because they believe that every white male and every man out there is toxic because they've been brainwashed to think that, right? Oh, a man having an opinion is dangerous. Or a man shouldn't have this opinion, should keep his mouth shut. Or a man is toxic. We should teach our young lads to treat women with respect. We do treat women with respect. We treat them better than you fucking hypocrites do. Anyway, as I said, he's been backed up by 4 detectives, so it doesn't matter what old Justin and all of these other idiots out there think about Noel Clarke. The police have already made up their mind. Noel Clarke is innocent in the eyes of the law. Now BAFTA must reinstate him. He must be getting. The Guardian have a lot to answer for. And those 2 journalists in particular that wrote that hit piece should face some action. And Noel Clarke will be taking action against the Guardian, and rightly fucking so. It's affected his mental health in a very bad way. Listen, he said it himself. These people wanted him dead, right? These people wanted him dead. He threw that up a couple of weeks ago. He wrote that up. He said, these people wanted me dead, right? And that's exactly what they wanted. Another Caroline Flack bullies someone online so much. Noel Clarke has gotten so much abuse online. It's unbelievable, right? Caroline Flack got the same shit, right? She got hounded by the media, hounded by people on social media. And what happened? That poor girl ended her life because of people and the bullying and harassment, right? Yes, she made a mistake. Her boyfriend didn't want to press charges, but the police wanted to make an example out of her, right? And she ended up taking her own life because people going around abusing her, calling her all sorts. Same thing happened to Noel Clarke as well. Yeah, all you people that have been attacking Noel Clarke ought to be ashamed of yourselves. And all the women who were abused have already been sent your words. Soon come. Who gives a shit? Go and tell them what I said. Do you think I give a shit what any of those women think about me? I don't. Or I'll say it to their face. I think you're lying. Why didn't you go to the police? I'd ask them questions. Why didn't you go to the police? Why did you go to the Guardian newspaper? Right? And why are you believing 2 central characters in this whole thing that's telling you this, that, and the other? Have you seen the alleged video? Have you seen the alleged photographs? Because the police haven't. Because if the police had, we wouldn't even be having this conversation about Noel Clarke, because Noel Clarke had already be locked up. Okay? So yeah, tell them. I don't care. Tell them. You think I'm worried? You think I'm worried? I'm giving my opinion, and based off all the evidence that I've read, reading the article, right? And the article's all hearsay, by the way. There's no actual evidence to back it up. It's all these people saying, well, he did this, that, and the other. But you know, proof. Supposed to be photographs out there. Where's the photographs? As I said, the police have the tools nowadays. Even if you delete photographs and old videos, they're able to find out that they were on your phone. Right? Okay? The police aren't fucking stupid. right? And they deemed he's innocent. So shut your mouth. Nobody cares what you think, okay? Noel Clarke should be reinstated by BAFTA, and he should be given he should have his career back because the police have already said that he's innocent. So done. So say what you want. The one thing that will happen is it all will come out. It all will come out when Noel Clarke sues the Guardian newspaper, and then we'll find out what exactly happened. What happened? Okay. Now, Noel Clarke has actually apologised for a couple of incidents where he was inappropriate, but should he be cancelled for that? No. No, flirting with someone and trying to come on to someone is not a crime. Maybe nowadays it is because you're all soft-minded. You don't like anybody coming in near you. So I don't know. Like society's become cold. Flirting and stuff used to be a fun thing, but now flirting's become this dirty word. You can't flirt with anybody anymore. Because then if you're flirting with someone, you're being accused of SA of someone. And you know what I'm saying? I can't say the words, right? But you get accused there of all of this sort of nonsense, right? I tell you, you must want to live in a really boring world where nobody's flirting with each other and a bloke can't dare say certain things because you're afraid that you're going to get locked up. I'm not living like that. I'm not living in fear. No way, right? And I'm not going to be discriminated against. And you can laugh all you want. I'm not going to be discriminated against because of me gender, right? Because there are radical feminists out there, people on the left out there telling us that we're all toxic males. Why not? Why not? If we're so toxic, we all wouldn't still be here on this fucking planet. All right? These are all bleeding, talking out yous our asses. But we seen it with Noel Clarke. We seen it with Caroline Flack. Unfortunately, Caroline Flack couldn't take it anymore, and she saw no way out, and she ended up taking her life. Right? Then I seen a friend of mine recently who was dogpiled because an actress on She-Hulk decided to retweet us all because she didn't like the opinions that we had. And one of my friends was sent death threats. He was sent death threats. He was coming home with his kids from school. He logs onto his computer and sees that he's been sent a load of death threats. All because he questioned this actress saying that this genre forgot someone. He was sent death threats. Right? He goes and does a video, and I could see by him when he's doing the video that this has gotten to him and it's affected his mental health. He even had to take a break. This is bang out of order. This has been going on ever since this woman, Jodie Whittaker, was cast in this Doctor Who fandom anyway. Right? And then now we've got other franchises now. You can't even open your mouth about them. You can't have a different opinion. Actors and actresses retweeting you, facilitating in a dog pile. All because we have different opinions. All because of a TV show or a movie having opinions about those two. It's a crime nowadays, folks. I hope there's no women in the chat. Okay, see, you're being, now I've got you. Now I've actually got you, right? So I'll throw this up. This is how I got you, right? I shouldn't really. This is really my wife's story to tell, but my wife told a story, right? And without going into details, my wife is also a victim, right? But worse happened to her. She was ordered 2 times, right? Twice. Okay? So even she thinks there's something dodgy about this. She supported Johnny Depp, not Amber Heard. Right? So don't be coming at me. Imagine if this was your daughter. If anybody did that to my daughter, trust me, they wouldn't be around to tell the tale. All right? Okay? Now, as I said, you weren't in the room, you little twat. Right? I've already told you that the police have said he's innocent. Yeah? I've told you that he's put up a video. He's accessed the Freedom of Information Act on himself, and it's been verified by 4 other detectives that no crime was reported. So what you're not getting through that sawdust brain of yours? What's happened to me? Nothing's happened to me. I'm still the same old Noel that you know. I'm still the same old Noel that you know. The difference is that I can see bullshit a mile away when I see it. Right? And I'm not going to stand by and watch an innocent man being dragged through the mud just like we seen with Johnny Depp. Right? Noel Clarke is an innocent man. The police have deemed him an innocent man. That's why I can say it. The police have said there's going to be no investigation. He's an innocent man. Because the eyes of the law have said he's an innocent man. The Guardian newspaper, right, and hearsay in the Guardian newspaper by two main culprits that have told the rest of them that Noel Clarke did all this stuff and has photographs and videos, right, is all hearsay. That's all it is. It's hearsay. There's no actual evidence in that Guardian newspaper. Where is the stills of the photographs? If I was a journalist and I was covering this story, I would want to cover all bases, wouldn't I? So I'd make sure that I had evidence to back up the actual statements that people are making, because they're very serious accusations to be making. And once you make those accusations through the media, they stick, even if you're innocent, right? Johnny Depp has been proven to be defamed by Amber Heard, right? But because she made sick allegations about him, he even said it on the stand. No matter what happens, even if I'm found innocent of all of this and blah, 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 that will live with me for the rest of my life, right? And that's exactly what's going to happen with Noel Clarke, right? Even after he's been found innocent and BAFTA kept silent and the Guardian haven't followed up on statements he's made, right, that could disprove him, right? This is the thing. Even those two journalists haven't went back to his old video where he says that he has this verified by foreign detectives. They haven't actually done a follow-up article to check up on it, because any good journalist actually would, right? If you were a great journalist, you would follow that up. If you did an article on an actor like Noel Clarke, right, and you're accusing them of all of these things, and you have so-called alleged victims coming forward, right? And then he comes out a few weeks later or a few months later with a video that says that I access the Freedom of Information Act on myself, and it's verified by 4 detectives that no crime in 40 years of my life was ever reported. Now, if you are that journalist or those two journalists, right, that wrote that article and you see Noel Clarke put that up there, because they're on Twitter, by the way. They're on Twitter, by the way, and they're on Instagram as well. I've checked out their accounts. They're on Twitter, right? So they would have seen it, right? And then any good journalist, as I said, would have went and investigated that. But the fact that they haven't even done a follow-up article on that or even investigated it tells me one thing and one thing only. These two journalists had an agenda, right? And if you look at their work, they're feminists, right? They do expose, and rightly so, they have in the model industry exposed the dangers that female models and even male models and the exploitation of them, which is great work, not criticizing that, right? But they go and do this, right? And then they don't follow up on it. It tells me that these journalists are not really great. And by the way, just to give you a laugh, the two journalists that wrote that hit piece on Noel Clarke recently won Journalist of the Year. They recently won Journalist of the Year, but when you go in, they say they're activists, they're feminists, right? Journalists are not journalists anymore, guys. They're propaganda mouthpieces, right? They're not journalists. They don't do journalism anymore. The simple fact of the matter is, Noel is a black guy. Noel has hinted at this, and I'll say it because I think he's right. Noel is a black guy. He was very powerful within the industry and very successful. And there are some within the British industry still that are racist pieces of shit, right? And they wanted to take him down. Simple as that. And your woman that's made these central accusations was actually fired by Noel Clarke. So, you know, it's just like when Angelina Jolie has come out all of a sudden because she's fighting over a winery. Oh, Brad Pitt hit me kids now. Well, why didn't you say that years ago? You had plenty of time. You've been away from him years now. Why are you waiting till now to tell the world that he's smacked your kids around? Again, Amber Heard and women like her have made it very hard for society now to believe women, believe all women, or to believe them straight away. No. The way it should always be is if a woman makes an allegation, it's looked into. But the person that she's accused of also deserves due process and shouldn't have their names dragged through the public. And then, obviously, if they police find something, then they name the accused, they name the the feckin' the person that's being accused, right? That's when you do it. You don't do it before, right? So the Guardian newspaper have a lot to answer for. Those two journalists have a lot to answer for. And if anybody out there is still thinking that Noel Clarke is this, that, and the other, I'd really implore you to go and do your own research. There is no way that Noel Clarke would be saying the things that he's saying online and no detective has pulled him up if it wasn't true. Right? He wouldn't say 4 detectives would do that. Right? He would say that and then not know. You would never look at. You wouldn't go and do a video and say it's been verified by 4 detectives, knowing that that the police could easily dismiss you. And the fact that nobody has actually, and Noel has made this point, since he's put that video up, there has been no comeback from any of the alleged victims that that went to the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian themselves have stayed silent, right? And the 4 detectives that he mentioned, the police haven't went and actually, said, well, he's lying. It hasn't been verified by 4 detectives. What are you even going on about, you little muppet, Lucinda, wherever your bleed name is? What's this? I'm not even on TikTok. What is TikTok? So you're using a spy app. Well done. No, their TikTok archive on you says you said yeah, Mrs. R word 7 times. But 4 weeks prior, you said it was just once. You are a horrible man. We have got you again. I don't know what. Oh, you're talking about the story that I told about my wife. Well, my wife has told that story to everybody in a full video on this channel. Cheryl doesn't. I don't like discussing what happened to Cheryl. To Cheryl, or even talking about it. Very much. But when people come back at me and say that that I support people that commit those crimes because I'm supporting Noel Clarke, even though he's been found innocent, I will come out and actually say, well, my wife is a victim. So I don't give a crap what your TikTok has, right? Don't care what your TikTok has. So good for you. See you later. Have a good one. Everybody, listen, everybody that's been here, right, with me from day one knows exactly what I said and knows exactly what my wife has said, right? And if they had any issue with it, they'd pull me up on it, right? There is no issue because there is nothing. You're just trying to make something of nothing. And I'm not a horrible man. Well, I'd rather be a horrible man in this society than rather be a fucking sheep, all right? A Twitter video has gassed you. Noel did all of it, and the whole world knows it. A Twitter video. What? Again, you're talking out your arse. I don't even know. I don't even know what you're talking about. Anyway, you can remove that gobshite because I don't know what they're talking about. No man who has a partner who suffered would ever take Noel Clarke back. Well, his wife is still with him. His wife is still with him. His wife hasn't left him. So what are you talking about? You're talking about out of your arse. But I love how they're trying to make it about me. Someone gassed me on Twitter. Do you know what? I will say this. The one thing that all of this dog piling that's happened to me over the last couple of days has shown me that this Doctor Who fandom, particularly the ones that engage in the threatening behaviour towards me, are all a bunch of dumb fucks. Right? They're uneducated. They haven't got a clue what they're talking about. They come at me with shit that doesn't even make any sense. Yeah? And apparently, you know, your actress from She-Hulk pigeoned me, gassed me, all of this other nonsense. No, she didn't. I actually called her out for fucking trying to put words in my mouth, right? And then when I actually asked her the question, who did this genre forget? Yeah, she wouldn't answer. So she didn't gas anybody. She did what every other coward does. They retweet, walk away, and watch the dog pile. And yes, if Noel is convicted, yeah, if there's any accusations proved, then he will be locked up. And of course, we would come out. But as I said, the law says he's innocent. They've said he's nothing to answer for. So we could be pretty certain to say he is innocent because the law have said it. Now, if the law comes back and new evidence comes to light, of course, that's a different scenario altogether. And of course, then we will withdraw our support if it turned out to be true. But we'd have to wait for due process. Now, Noel is going to go through that due process because he's going to bring the Guardian. So whatever accusations or any of these people that are accusing them, they'll have to show up in court now. Whereas they should have just went to the police in the first place and had their day in court. But they decided to go to the media instead. The media aren't the law of the land. It's not up to the media to decide who's guilty and not guilty. And these journalists, even the way they wrote the article, they'd already made up their mind that Noel Clarke was guilty. That's not their job as journalists. They're not supposed to think or supposed to give their opinion or to be to fucking say that, yeah, they think he's guilty. That's not their job. They're supposed to be neutral in that and they report anyway. All journalists are. But they don't. Because as I said, they're not journalists anymore. They're propaganda. Anyway, this has become a bit of a Noel Clarke thing. And I didn't want it to become a bit of a Noel Clarke thing. But as Noel Clarke has suffered at the hands of these fans in our fandom, I suppose it is kind of the way it was going to go. We mean Noel's Twitter video, him saying it is lies, does not make it so. You are jumping the gun, women blaming, and when the times comes, you will be on a documentary. You are absolutely making no sense at all. Listen, again, brain dead. The police have said Noel Clarke is innocent. The police have said Noel Clarke is innocent. Right? They've said he's innocent. Right? He's accessed the Freedom of Information Act. In 40 years of his life, no crime has ever been reported against Noel Clarke. Right? So the question you must ask yourself is why did the alleged victims go to the newspaper instead of going to the police originally? Number one. Number two, why would Noel Clarke put up a video to say that he accessed the Freedom of Information Act and that was verified by 4 other detectives? Right? And how come that hasn't been challenged by the detectives in question? And how come the Guardian newspaper has never followed up with an article on this to either prove it or disprove it? There's lots of questions to be asked and lots of answers to be given. Now, if you want, because your blind hatred towards men, right, and you want to ignore the gaping questions right? And yes, I put up Twitter videos to say Noel was innocent. So what? The reason why I could say that is because the police have deemed he's innocent. So I'm not saying anything that the police are not already saying. So, as I said, if it comes to light that detectives do find some evidence or new evidence or whatever, then of course we'll come out. But the police right now have said he's innocent, right? And they're not investigating him. So I don't know what you are all talking about, saying that there's going to be this investigation. There's no investigation. They've come out and said they're not investigating. The police have actually come out and made a statement and said they're not investigating him. Again, I'll just keep repeating, the Guardian newspaper does not control law and order in this country. Journalists that wrote that article do not control law and order in the UK. Right? Simple as that. Simple as that. Now, if you want to believe a newspaper article, that's on you. Not only no charges, there were no statements made against Noel Clarke. You're absolutely spot on there as well. There were no statements made. None. Zero. Zilch. They went to the newspaper instead. They went to the newspaper instead. The journalists got Weinstein, got Jimmy. They're the ones who do hundreds of thousands of hours. Yeah, hundreds of thousands of hours, but didn't put enough hours into the Noel Clarke investigation because they even admit that this was a rushed investigation. Right? And I don't care if they got Harvey Weinstein and Jimmy Savile, and they didn't get Jimmy Savile. It was a detective that got Jimmy Savile, by the way. Right? Because there's a new Jimmy Savile show coming out by the BBC, and the detective that was behind that high profile case has actually come out and said that there are some more that are still in the industry that he's now going after. So it wasn't those journalists. Don't be giving those journalists credit for something that they didn't do. They had nothing to do with Jimmy Savile. Sure, the age of them when Jimmy Savile was found out to be what he was, they weren't probably even in journalism at the time. Okay? So don't be talking out your ass. They had nothing to do with Jimmy Savile, because I know everything about the Jimmy Savile case, because he was one of the sickest, worstest bastards that ever lived. Right? So don't be talking to me thinking that you know your stuff. I know me stuff. I've read everything into this Noel Clarke situation. Everything. Right? Just like the Johnny Depp fans have with Johnny Depp, the Johnny Depp supporters. They've studied every single thing that has been said about him. Every single statement, every single fucking interview. They've even went back and watched past interviews and stuff like that. They went through everything. I've done the same. John the White has done the same. And other people out there that have been talking positively about Noel Clarke have done the same. We wouldn't be coming out and supporting him if he didn't have police backing. Right? But he does. They've said he's innocent. See, I love when you hit them with logic, they start slagging you off, calling you a fool. You can remove that idiot as well. He's probably belonged to all of that. He's probably Andrew pretending to be someone else. Controversial opinion, Johnny and Amber are abusers. No, I don't think Johnny is an abuser. I think he abuses drugs, and I think we all know that. But I don't think he was ever abusive. We've all heard the audios as well. He was never abusive to Amber in any of those audios. He was trying to calm her down and get away from her, and she wouldn't let him go. Right? She's the abuser. She has previous. She's actually got a mugshot. She beat up an ex-girlfriend a few years back. There's even rumours that she battered bleeding Elon Musk as well. Right? She's just a violent piece of crap. And it's because of women like her. It's because of women like her that not only are women now not going to be believed straight off the bat, But because of women like her, other women out there that want to get revenge on blokes because, maybe they turned them down or they didn't get their job promotion are now going to start making false accusations against blokes, right? So people like Amber Heard have actually done a lot of fucking damage to women's rights. Yeah, I'm just saying, I think he is an abuser of drugs, but even his ex-girlfriends have all come out and said he was never abusive to them. So I'd believe them over Amber Heard. I don't, and the audio that we've all heard that audio. She was the one that was abusive towards him, slamming presses that the Amber fans seem to jump on all the time because he slammed a few presses. Shows that he's a toxic male. No, he was angry. Of course he's fucking angry. If you were in a relationship with Amber Heard, you'd be angry every day of the fucking week. I don't know how he stayed with her, to be quite honest. He should have ran a mile. Still 18 months later and there's no... Exactly, mate. Listen, they can ignore the facts, mate. 18 months and there's still nothing. Noel Clarke has no charges. It's been 18 months. He shouldn't be cancelled, you're right. Johnny Depp shouldn't be cancelled, and neither should Noel Clarke because the police have said he's innocent. It's absolutely disgraceful. But look at what those two men, because let's go bring it back to the mental health stuff, right? Look at what those two men would have having to go through, right? Johnny's gone through this for years, by the way. So can you imagine the impact that had on his mental health? And we all seen him up on that stand. That was a broken man. That was a man that didn't want to talk about his life because he's a very private man. But he knew he had to expose himself to the world to get his story out for people to believe him. And people did. And the jury did. And Noel Clarke will be the same. Hey, Daniel. Nice to see you in the chat. But as I said, we've had a lot of people abused and harassed in this fandom. Right? Whether you support Noel Clarke or whether you have a different opinion on Doctor Who, I've been bashed. Other people that I know have been bashed. And it does take its toll. I've had a couple of episodes, even on a live stream, where I've totally cracked. And, I was asking why all of this was happening to me. Because I still can't fathom, even to this day. It's the one thing I can't fathom is that, because this is how crazy it sounds. This is how insane it sounds. I'm getting attacked on social media because I have opinions about a female doctor and the quality of the show. And because of that, that's somehow justified me being abused, my wife being shamed, my friends being attacked. Loads of people caught in the crossfire, sent death threats, sent pictures of beheadings, sent a bloke in the fandom who's a nudist sending me pictures of his naked body. This is what I've been sent. I've been sent disgusting porn images. All the while getting text messages saying, well, I hope you die in a car crash. Hope you get COVID. I hope you get decapitated. I hope your dog dies. Your wife deserved it. Hope she dies. All of this nonsense. Now, I've shown, because people always say, well, we don't believe you. Now, over the years, I've put up videos. You have seen them. Now, I don't do that anymore as much, but I do have a lot of chats that I'm in on Twitter and other apps. And I share these amongst the people that I'm friends with. And there's a couple of people in the chat there that'll tell you, I've showed them the screenshots of some of these vile, disgusting things that have been sent to me about me, my wife, and other people in this fandom. And then I'm told that if I wasn't so toxic, having opinions is toxic, by the way, right? So when I say toxic, I actually mean having opinions. But I'm toxic, right? And having those opinions that I have are toxic. They're not toxic. Listen, I don't care if you don't care that I don't care that you're upset that I said that Jodie Whittaker was over her head or shouldn't have been cast, or I didn't agree with a female doctor, or I didn't like the time this children, or I didn't like that cancer scene, or I didn't like the fact that Tech Toyum murdered a child multiple times and experimented on that child for regeneration power. Like, you know, they're just opinions. They're opinions. Now, you mightn't like the way I put them across, but again, they're opinions. That's all they are. You guys choose to be upset and offended. You guys are the ones that come onto my Twitter account, retweet me, so I get dogpiled. Now, I've seen this happen to a lot of my friends on Twitter over these last few years. We've even lost some people along the way. Now, when I mean lost people along the way, I mean channels that have decided to pack up, or people that used to be within the community have decided to walk away because it's just gotten a bit too much. All because they dared to have a different opinion to a vocal minority who are acting like the bad Germans of the 1930s, dictating what fans should think, feel, and say. Now, we've got a serious issue because it's starting up again now. With only 10 days to go to this episode, they focused their attention on me and a couple of others in this fandom now, and they're starting up their nonsense again, which means that this isn't going away anytime soon, folks. And this is why I wanted to do this stream, because a lot of people's mental health is gonna be affected until from now until then and beyond, and it's gonna have a lasting effect. So again, I'll ask, because I am on over an hour and nobody has asked to come on. So is there anybody that's in the chat that's brave enough to share the story? We've got another half hour or so to go. But if you would like to come on and share your story, share your experience, tell me what happened to you, what kind of harassment was sent your way, and how did you deal with it? How did you deal with it? So we can give advice to people out there. How did you deal with it? You know, and what effect did it actually have on your mental health? And you know, because we, as I said, we've heard from a lot of women in this fandom. I mentioned that earlier on, but Melina was recently, as you know, dogpiled by a load of these fans, and her mental health has taken quite a knock. So much so that, you know, she's not as active as she used to be. It's hard to realize you are evil, but your words today are so damaging, so evil. What you have said today is out of. Could you? I don't mean to criticize your writing, but could you write that scathing message again about how I'm so evil? Thanks. No, they didn't attack her again. I'm just bringing up the example, Chris, that she was dogpiled on, as you remember, and we've also got other women that we know that have been also dogpiled. But Janice, if you'd like to put that message up again, please, because I couldn't understand some of the words that you were putting up there. And I'm not slagging you off because my spelling is awful as well. But if you could write that up again, that scathing message again, please do. It's hard to realize you are evil. No, the bad Germans were evil, and their words were evil. I'm just speaking fact. The fact is that Noel Clarke is innocent because the police have deemed him innocent. So if that is somehow damaging and evil, well then that's on you, love, not me. Sorry, I'm just going by what the police said. Until the police say different, Noel Clarke is innocent. So like I don't know what your problem is. Simple. That goes for everybody else that's watching behind the scenes that hasn't had the nerve to actually come in and make a comment. Um, the police deem him innocent, so I'm not saying that and that's wrong. I'm not being disrespectful because the police have already done. The police have already said that there's no investigation to be done. So sorry, I'm not evil. I'm just stating fact. I didn't realize how toxic. So we've got a message from someone here. And I'll put it up. Listen, if you don't want to come on, then right. If it's too much for people to come on, I'll ask you this then. Share your experience like File 13 has now in a message there, and I'll throw it up on the screen for you. I didn't realize how toxic this fandom was. I've dealt with mental health issues, but not due to online bullying. Mine were more combat and work related. The best tool is a good support system, says File 13. And it's Willie P, just in case. Yeah, how are you, Willie? Nice to see you, pal. Nice to see you. And thank you for that kind comment. I really appreciate it. Any little help. So if anybody does actually have any advice for anybody that is suffering, for me, to deal with social media aspect of it all I would just say is if there is people abusing you or harassing you on social media, the best thing you can do is block. Not even mute these people. Some people say mute. Now block them. Now they might start setting up other accounts, but just keep blocking them. It's the only thing that you can do on Twitter, the likes of Twitter. I think Instagram, once you block someone, you block the whole IP address and they can't set up another account. But the best thing to do is to block them. Is to block them, or because I've gotten to the stage where I don't block them now anymore because I've gotten used to it now. I just retweet them and wind them up. But for people that are really suffering, block might be my best advice. Yeah, I agree with you there, Unknown. This wasn't supposed to turn into an Noel Clarke thing. So I'm going to have to do this whole thing again because, look, and nobody. No, I don't. I think it's still too raw. I did think it was important to bring it up because, it's happening right now. Again, even today, I'm getting dogpiled on. Um, because there's a new Jodie Whittaker episode coming up, so it's like clockwork. But I thought it was important because I'm seeing a lot of it happening on social media, and it is affecting a lot of people. But I think I will. Well, if they haven't, right. So Janice is saying in there that a case takes age. Right, Janice, listen, you're forgetting one thing, right? Right, you're saying. So you've said Chris Persia, that is to come, will take years. There, this is always the case, big boy. Right, right. You see, your comment would make sense, right, if the police were actually investigating. Janice, how many times do you have to be told, and every other person out there, the police are not investigating? There is nothing to investigate. So there is no case being built up here. The only case that's being built up is the case that's being built up by Noel Clarke, when he sues the ass off the Guardian newspaper for making false accusations in the newspaper, right? So how is that there's no case being built up because there's no investigation? The police have actually come out and said there's no investigation being done. What do you not understand? Like, what do you not understand? The police are not behind the scenes. All right, we'll tell the public that we're not investigating, but let's do it anyway, right? No, they have to be transparent. They have to come out and say, if they're investigating Noel Clarke, they'll come out and say they're investigating Noel Clarke. They've come out and said they're not investigating Noel Clarke. So therefore, he's innocent. Like, seriously, he's innocent. So there is no case being built up. You're all living in cuckoo land. The police have already said there is nothing for him to answer for. So how would they be building up a case when they've publicly come out and said, oh no, there's nothing to investigate? So you're living in dreamland. You all still think that, right, after 18 months of silence from the alleged victims, that in a couple of years' time they're going to come out and speak up. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. There is no case being built up. There is no police officer out there gathering evidence right now to set up a case. You can clip all you want. Go ahead, clip it. You won't be able to anyway because I have a set that people can't clip it. And if you do clip it and you put it up, you're putting it up without my permission. Right? So wherever you put this up, I'm going to make sure that it's taken down. Because I'll actually I can show people the setting. I actually have a set on YouTube that I don't want people clipping me videos. So if you clip my video, I am going onto your account and I'm reporting you. And I'll make sure I'll tag Team YouTube in it as well to look into it. Look, I have my settings set. Here's my settings here. Sort this out. I didn't give them permission to use my video. So you go ahead. It seems that you're here. I'll tell you what, clip this, you bleeding wally. Hold on. You want to clip something? I'll give you something to clip right now. When you see. Hold on there now. I'll give you something to fucking clip. Yeah? Right? And you can shove this down your throat too, right? Okay? I'll give you something to clip now. You can clip this all you want. Yeah? But you won't clip this though. But you won't clip this though. Because it speaks facts. And you don't like facts. Right? You don't like facts. None of you like facts. They're all a bunch of morons. Oh, the police are not investigating. There's nothing. Oh, but they're building up a case. It's going to take years. They're building up nothing, you wally. They're building up nothing, you wally. Right. Clip this one. Here's something for you to clip, right? Clear me voice. Clear your voice. Oh, my voice is clear. My voice is clear. Right. Here, clip this, you wally. Right? You want to clip something? Clip this. Here. Go and clip this here. Right? Here's Noel Clarke, right? You can clip Noel Clarke there, right? Here, from the horse's mouth himself, right? Here, clip this. Clip this one, right? You want something to clip? Here you go. Clip this.
I want you to remember what was said about me. You know, all these police things that were said about me. More people coming forward to the police.
a
Police
tick. It means you're a tick.
And then eventually, you know, police have dropped the investigation due to insufficient evidence and all that sort of malarkey. I want you to remember all of that because it gives me crazy PTSD, but that's what was said. But, you know, there's a thing called the Freedom of Information Act. And when you do the Freedom of Information Act, you can request a right of access. So I requested my right of access, which is this bit of paper right here, and the email that comes with it. And basically, my right of access tells me in black and white from the Metropolitan Police that in my 40 plus years of life, there has never, ever been a complaint or police report made about me.
Right. So there has never, in 40 odd years of his life, there has never, ever been a police report made about Noel Clarke. No investigation, no crime reported. Now, we'll go back to that little piece again, just in case you did not hear it, right? So you can clip this to your heart's content, yeah?
And the email that comes with it. And basically, my right of access tells me in black and white from the Metropolitan Police that in my 40 plus years of life, there has never, ever been a complaint or police report made about me.
Now, he's at the making that statement very public, Janice. And to all of you other people out there that think he's guilty, I will ask you this question. He's made that statement very public. So the two journalists that wrote the original Guardian article, right, that said there was an investigation. Now he's coming out and saying, no such thing has happened. So why haven't those two journalists done a follow-up article? Ask yourself that question. Why haven't they? Because if I was the journalist that did this piece on Noel Clarke and I heard this video, I'd be investigating it right now to disprove him or to try see if he's telling the truth. But I'd investigate it, right? They haven't done a follow-up on this, right? Now listen to the rest of it.
Ever, in any way, shape or form. There's no documents found anywhere on the system where I am.
No documents found on the system. Very important too. No documents. The police have already come out and said that he's not going to be investigated. So,
as a person that's complained of or a suspect. So,
So did you hear what he said there? All the people that went to the Guardian newspaper and made these alleged accusations, not one of them actually reported a crime to the police because there's no documentation. Explain that one to me too, please, Janice.
So I guess now I was just so evil and manipulative that I did everything that was kind of just under the level of criminality. Or maybe, and I'm just throwing it out there, maybe it was a bit of exaggeration and collusion and embellishment and bullshit. But hey, just saying, there are a lot of bad people in this business. I promise you, I was not one.
Now,
I want you to remember what was said about me.
Now, Janice, I hope you've clipped that, right? Okay. See, it blows anything any of you little idiots have to say. The fact of the matter is that none of these alleged victims went to the police, reported a crime. There is no documentation to back any of these alleged victims up or to even back up the Guardian article. Now, if Noel Clarke is publicly coming out and saying all of this, why hasn't the Guardian newspaper, the two journalists that did the hit piece on him originally, not follow up on this? And this is the big question everybody has to ask. Why haven't they followed up on this? If they want to nail Noel Clarke so bad and they believe he's so guilty, they would follow up on this and they would disprove him. But they haven't. There again, this is obviously the same person pretending to be different people. I've reported him for X. Sorry, but he is waffling and your channel is now doomed. Give it a decade. Give it a decade? Give it a decade? Well, grand, if I have to wait a decade for my channel to be doomed, then that's great. Thanks. It's been 18 months. 18 months. No follow-up by the Guardian newspaper. No alleged victim in 18 months has reported a crime, even though they went to the papers and accused Noel of crimes. Right? But you're saying give it a decade. You're just like the other little moron, or you're probably the same little moron that was in here a few minutes ago. That's all you are. You're a moron. If you want to deny the facts because you're a man-hating person, that's fine. Be that person, but go elsewhere, right? We are going to continue to support Noel Clarke. Simple as that. Until otherwise given information that will make us withdraw our support. But as I said, no crime reported in 40 odd years of his life, so you can go and suck it. Yeah, well, he said it. He said it, and the victims didn't go. They went to the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian haven't followed up. I would just say, you know, 18 months and Noel is still out there, free man. He says that, and then above that video, he says it was verified by 4 detectives. Well, if he was lying, I'm pretty sure the police would have called him out for it already. So, I'm telling you, they could say, I'll give it 5, 10 years. They're idiots, right? These idiots, see, it's the same with the Amber Simps, right? Even though the evidence is there that she's the one that is a toxic piece of crap, she was the abuser, right? And she did defame Johnny Depp, yeah? While that evidence is there right in front of them, the jury found her guilty, right? Her supporters still think that she's an innocent woman, right? It's the same with these people that hate Noel Clarke. No matter what the evidence is in front of them, right? They will just say that he's guilty because they all have a hidden agenda. They all hate men, right? They woke up one day and they just decided that us white males were no longer of use, and now what will we do? We'll just bash them for the next few years, right? And this is what's happened. You've got organizations that Me Too, that have come out, and don't get me wrong, Me Too has done some good work, but then they get radicalized, and then innocent men then start being accused of stuff that they haven't even done, and before you know it, before they have a chance to even get justice, their careers are ruined, flushed down the toilet, and then it turns out that these women were lying all along, and that's exactly what's happened. Johnny Depp, Amber Heard lied about Johnny. Johnny lost his career, and she continued her career, and even after she's been found guilty, we still have the people out there in Hollywood, people in the media, still saying that Johnny is the abuser. It's absolutely disgraceful, right? But that's the society that we've grown up into today because we let the radical left take over the fucking society, take over our schools, take over fucking everywhere, right? And this is the kind of crap that we get now. It's time to take our society back, okay? It's time to fucking push back against all of this because it's absolutely damaging. It's absolutely evil, right? It's evil. As I said at the very start of this video, if you as a woman or a man have been affected by any sort of abuse, go to the police. Now, my advice would be, do not go to the media first. Go to the police. You go to the media, you're ruining your chance of getting a fair trial, right? Go to the police. Oh, you're a fucking idiot. It's been 18 months since there's been nothing since the police said there wouldn't be an investigation. What do you not get? Are you really that dumb? Do you really hate men that much that you're that stupid? Are you all that stupid? I think you are. I think you are. And I'm actually sickened to see some men, if you really are men, defending these women, defending that article. I think it's absolutely disgusting. You male feminists are worse than the feminists, actually. You think that supporting feminists is somehow you're going to get brownie points. Feminists would eat you alive and spit you out. They don't give a shit about you. The thing about it is, the women say that, or the one particular woman is telling these other women that Noel has inappropriate photographs of them, and that there is actually a casting couch video. The thing is that we've never seen any of the stills or any of these photographs. And another thing as well, again, I want to make the point that if these actually existed, right, the police, right, when it was brought to their attention because of the Guardian newspaper, they would have actually then looked into it, wouldn't they? And they didn't find out. And they said that he's not going to be investigated. So again, they could say what they want. But look, we'll have to do this we'll have to do this again. The stream that I wanted to do, because this has turned into something that I didn't want it to turn into. But what we're gonna do is we'll hold it for next week. So, but I mean, look, people, look. The reason why I wanted to do this because I want to get people on to tell their stories. Try help people in the fandom. Don't be shy, right? I know for some years it'll probably be hard to come on and tell you their stories, but for ones that aren't actually worried about coming on to tell their story, listen, get in contact with me, man. Let me know that you want to come on so we could set this up, because there's no point in me doing this if I'm coming on talking about mental health if the rest of you that have stories to tell won't come on and tell you their stories. We need to get this out there, folks. This is an important issue. This is affecting a lot of people in the fandom. I was really excited about this stream. Damn. I know, well, it turned into this Noel Clarke thing because people start banging on about him in the chat. Start calling me out for defending them. Of course they're projecting, Daniel. Male feminists are as bad as feminists. They're worse. There you go. This happens all the time, but there is a stigma around it because it happens to a man. Because people out there believe that this kind of stuff doesn't happen to blokes. It happens to blokes all the time. I dealt with domestic violence, and as a man, I looked at as weak. I was looked at as weak. I'd love to see someone now say that no one believed me until I finally reported it. I have no shame, not worth the abuse. Exactly. Men are shamed into not saying that neither. And some men will think that, you know, and this is why I wanted to do this mental health stream, because there is a lot of blokes out there that don't like talking about this kind of stuff. And they're bottling all of this stuff up. And, you know, it's having a huge effect on them. But men out there are suffering too, right? And they are victims of domestic abuse. And they can be essayed just like women can, right? But it's not taken too seriously because we're blokes, and some men themselves, as Foil 13 said, they said, well, they had no shame, but a lot of people would, especially blokes, would be shameful because men are looked at as strong and masculine, and you know. It's like as if society set up that men don't have feelings. Of course, we have feelings. We just seem to bottle it up quite a lot, though, as blokes. But my advice, because I've talked about my issues and stuff that's been going on with me and inside me head, and I will say this: there is no shame in it, and getting stuff off your chest is great, especially talking to people that you know that are understanding and that are willing to listen. course I am. I'm always getting. Look, it doesn't matter. It always happens. Disaster area. It's not. It's It's something that's been happening to me a long time, so I'm used to it. Don't worry about it. Well, I mean, if you look at everything that's been said, I'm telling you now, there's Jamie. The one thing I will say is, once you read everything, you know, the first thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna have questions, right? And that's the important thing here. We have to ask questions, and we need answers. And Noel Clarke deserves those answers because his career is on hold, or he's cancer, or never will get his career back. We don't know, but you will have questions, and they do have to be answered. And that's what we're trying to say as well. Guardian, the fact that the Guardian and those two journalists have stayed quiet on this is startling to me anyway. Oh yeah, it does take. John went into a lot of detail. John likes to fucking cover all bases. It's the one thing I actually do like about him, I have to say. When he's covering stuff like that, it can be a pain in the ass, but you can see that he's put a lot of effort into it. He's not one of these people that, half-asses it. So he covers all bases, and that's exactly what he's done with it. And then you read the Guardian article again after reading all his stuff, and then you say, oh, what John said there, then yeah, that actually does make, there's something dodgy going on here. Questions need to be asked and answers need to be given. Anyway, I'm going to change the title of this video. Unfortunately, I didn't want it to go into this, but I do agree. Someone in the chat said for the next one, just make a subscribers only chat. That's what I'm going to do for the next one, because we need to keep it on a topic. But I wasn't going to sit there and let someone come in here and criticize me for supporting Noel Clarke, and then have a go at me for it and saying that people are doing videos on me and all this. I don't care anyway, right? I've had people on both sides of the fandom do videos about me, right? People that I even thought were my friends doing videos about me, right? I don't care. People could do as many videos as they want about me. It doesn't bother me, right? At the end of the day, I just find I kind of find it sad that you'd want to do a video on a nobody, because I am a nobody. I'm a nobody on YouTube that has a mouth, right? That has a mouth on Twitter, and for some weird reason, a lot of people like that, which is great, and I love it, right? But I am a nobody, right? I'm a small fish in a very big pond on YouTube, and the fact that you're all getting upset over things that I've said is actually laughable now at this stage. It's a pity I didn't have this attitude when I first started all of this and just laughed at you all from day one, because I would have had a better time of it. But I've learned the hard way. Yeah, I've learned the hard way, right? So this is why even this talking about the stuff that's happened to me, it doesn't bother me anymore. It's happened so much now that it's become a normality, right? So the thing that makes me sad is that these people waste so much time on me when I'm literally a nobody. And I could say that I am a nobody on YouTube, right? Don't have any influence, but the way they're going on, you think I had, right? Even after I said that in a tweet, right? I threw up a tweet where someone was like trying to make it out that I was this big shot and all this. So I don't have an ego, right? I know my place on YouTube. I'm a small fish, right? Small fish in a big pond, right? And the fact that is actually, because people think that I can influence, the fact that people out there think that I can influence people with such a small channel and a small Twitter account is laughable, right? I have zero influence on this fandom. I give my opinions and people just happen to agree with me, right? But I don't have an army. I don't have an ego, right? I don't do this for any attention. I do it because I'm very passionate about the things that I talk about and I want to cover. And because of that, some people like it. I've gained a bit of an audience, and that's great. But I never take it for granted. I know me place in the fandom, right? That might shock a lot of people there, right? I think a lot of YouTube channels out there anyway have made it clear where I am, because I never get invites anymore. Used to back in the early days. And right, sometimes I did not turn up on streams that I should have turned up on, but I wasn't well. But fair enough. I could understand why some people out there don't want to send me invites, but I'm not loaded with channel invites and all of that. So I know my place. I've got my own little spot here. All I care about is the audience that we have here and the people that support me and the people that I know that have me back. And they know I have their back, right? Because nobody else will defend anybody in this fandom. We all have to look out for each other. And I set this channel up to give people a voice that weren't being heard in the Doctor Who fandom when Jodie Whittaker took over. When these fans were attacked and told that they weren't fans anymore, they were fake fans, right? So I'm proud of that. But I know me place. Nobody. Yeah. So you're the ones that put me up on that pedestal, which is funny. And yous are the ones that have been going after me for the last few years, 24/7. And I'm the one that's living in our heads 24/7. You really need to cop onto yourselves, right? You can ignore me. You can use the block button like many have done because they're cowards anyway. But you can use the block button. You don't have to come in here and listen to me videos, right? You can leave me be in my own little corner of my little world and let me do what I'm doing. And you just don't have to interfere. But you choose to do that. And you choose to bring me in touch with the public. Because every time any of you idiots go after me and retweet me, I'm getting more subscribers, getting more people following me Twitter account. So you are actually doing me a favor. Use are my free advertise. I've never had to advertise this channel, right? Right? I've never had to do it, but I do it the odd time, right? But I've never had to advertise this channel because for the last 4.5, 5 years, the J-bots have done that for me. So if you look at it, you have been responsible for some of the subs that I have here too. So thank you. But it's actually sad because you are the ones that keep paying me the attention. If you didn't do your first mental health stream, me and Lee would never have messaged John Jack Rabbit. And that's nice to hear. Yeah, this didn't actually turn out the way I wanted it, Jack. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow up because this turned into, unfortunately, an Noel Clarke discussion because a few people decided to have a go at me in the chat for supporting Noel Clarke and start calling me names as they always do. So it turned into something completely different. But next week, before this bleeding episodes drops, we'll be doing a proper mental health stream, right? Daniel, you've already invited me onto your channel. Mate, when I say that, I'm not talking to you or any of the people that we know. I'm just saying there's some channels out there. I see that friends of ours are being invited, but I never seem to get invited. And I don't know whether it's because those people also secretly think that I'm toxic, or I don't know what it is, but I just don't seem to be everybody's cup of tea. And I suppose I can understand that in a little way because I am like the others. There's other YouTubers out there, and I see their supporters. Oh, they're great. They take no shit off everybody, and people say that they're very controversial. They don't have a patch on me. I probably am considered one of the most controversial YouTubers out there in fandom, certainly in the Doctor Who fandom, anyway. Because I don't hold back. Some channels still rein themselves in. I don't. And I never will. I think I need to lay down after this stream. Well, look, it kind of points out, but again, even though it wasn't a proper mental health stream, which we will do next week, and I'm definitely so. Listen, there's a lot of you in the chat now that have turned up. If you want to be part of that and come on and tell your story, and even if you've told your story before in the last stream, right? This is a new one now. Other stuff could have happened since then. Come on and tell your story, right? So we'll be here next week at the same time, right? Next week at the same time. And please get involved because look, I think it's important that you get your stories out there. We need to let the fandom know what's going on in this fandom, what this kind of behavior, how it's having an impact on people's mental health. Seriously, I know it wasn't supposed to turn into this, but people decide that they want. But again, you see that I even hear in the safety of my own channel, people coming on and accusing me of all sorts and trying to harass me on my own stream. So again, as I said, you've seen it here today, right? Anybody that's been following this channel have been in the chat when the trolls have been here multiple times and said some of the most horrible, vilest things. You've seen it. I don't need to tell my story again. You've heard my story. I want to bring other people on to tell their stories. That's what this was supposed to be. But I had to talk for a while because nobody, when I came on, nobody wanted to come on, which is fair enough. You know, maybe it is hard for some people. But then some people, then I don't know. So someone obviously retweeted this stream. Or someone is spying on my YouTube channel because all of these people start coming in. That's how sad and pathetic these people are. Now, this used to affect me all the time. I'd be finishing streams and I'd be in bits. I'd be in bits, man. Cheryl would be there literally comforting me. I'd be in bits after stream, after the stuff that was said. It really took its toll on me. And I'm a man, I've told me story, I'm a man that wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Doctor Who in 2005. And I think you all know what I mean. I was in the position that Caroline Flack was in as in, i.e., I wanted to end it all. And I did try. I've told me story anyway. Don't need to keep telling it. But I did try. Right? So, all of this happening in the fandom brought all of that horrible negativity back. And you know, but I had a better handle on it this time. Because I dealt with it back then. I'd gotten the help that I needed. I spoke to the people that I needed. So by the time I got to this and this all happening now over the last, I can cope with it now. In the early years when we were on this channel, I couldn't. You've all seen that I took a few little turns. It wasn't great, right? But these last 2 years, especially 2.5 years, I've been probably the most happiest that I've been. I've had little bouts, little weeks here and there. Because, yes, you can ignore it all. And yes, you know, I've dealt with it better. But still, there's always that odd fecker that will get to you and get under your skin. What day do you plan to doing the mental health stream? Well, it's Thursday now, isn't it? So maybe next Wednesday. Yeah, we'll do it midweek. No, we can't do it Wednesday. We can't do it Wednesday because we have the Doctor Who watch-alongs. We'll do it on Thursday next week. So 6 o'clock UK time next Wednesday. I have to change the feckin' heading on this bleeding stream now. Jesus Christ, man. What did I bleed? I didn't think it was going to end up going into this anyway. But yeah, if you want to come on, mate, you're more than welcome to come on. I might not be here if it weren't for Lee. I've never been. Here we go. Here's another story here, right? And maybe we'll get Jack on again if he's willing to tell to tell you about his experience, and you know, I mean, I kind of think this sums it up anyway. I might not be here if it weren't for Lee. I've never been affected by bullies in this fandom. I've been very lucky, but I had a lot going on personally, and reaching out to you and Lee helped me. Well, I do appreciate that, man. And as I said, you know, and I say to anybody that we know, you know, reach out. You know, I mightn't get back in touch with you, baby, straight away, but I will get back in touch with you. You know, it's always important, and I'll say this, and we'll kind of end here. But I will say to anybody out there, if you're feeling down, right? If people in this fandom are getting you down and stuff has happened, you know, don't keep that stuff to yourself. Come and talk to us. Come and talk to people, or if there are people that you know that you can trust, go and talk to them. Never keep this stuff bottled inside you. Go and talk to someone. You will find that you will feel a lot better straight away. Now, of course, you will still feel crap, right? But you'll get there day by day, step by step, if you have the right people, the right support system around you. Anyway, yeah, I think what we're going to do for the next stream though is, because I see PD and Chris there talking about the comments and stuff, and we are having a bit of an issue. So what we're going to do is, as I said, for that stream next week, it's going to be subscriber chat only, right? So if you're a subscriber, you're in. Now, obviously, that means obviously if the trolls do then decide to subscribe, obviously the moderators then will be there to take care of it. But we'll make it a subscriber chat only, or because I'm not gonna have to be dealing with this again. And the fact of the matter is, you know, I'm supporting an innocent man, and if you have a problem with that, I suggest you just, like, you know, just shut your mouth, because, you know, at the end of the day, I'm an old fashioned guy. I believe in the law, the land. I believe in due process. I believe that everybody should have their day in court, but I also believe that the people that are being accused of these crimes should also have due process and should also have their day in court. And we're living in a society now where the media think they could take it upon themselves to become judge, jury, and executioner. And I'm saying enough with the cancel culture, enough with the media being so toxic. The media, driven by all of these activists, have ruined society, right? Are responsible for the behavior of fans because their articles have driven this hate towards fans. They are also responsible and need to take responsible for the impact they have also had on fans' mental health. They have impacted it with their articles. Remember Jodie Whittaker, when she was cast, the first articles that came out, oh, any person that doesn't like a female doctor is a sexist bigot, right? They started all of this. The propagandists and the journalists, and then the fans that support them, all then pile on. And this is all media, these so-called fans, and these companies all have a lot to answer for when it comes to the mental health of fans. And shame on the BBC, Chris Chibnall and co, for not calling out the harassment and the bullying that was going on in this fandom, but had no problem with calling out people that didn't like a female doctor, but didn't want to call out the people that were actually really affecting people's mental health and driving people to near suicide. So yeah, I'll say it one last time. Thursday, 6 o'clock next week, subscriber only chat. If you want to take part, right, you know where to contact me. Some of you are on Twitter. Don't be shy, man. Contact me. Tell me that you want to come on, man. Don't be afraid, okay? Now, I know some of you will find it difficult to come on, and I understand that, right? If you don't want to come on because you find it difficult, fine. But come into the chat anyway, and if you don't want to come on and publicly tell your story, right, speak your story, tell your story, then you can tell your story in the chat, like Jack and a few others have, right? But this is important, right? It's a very important topic, and I'm sorry that it did get sidetracked, but you've all been witness, and I have to say you've all been very good, because you could have very easily had a pop at me because it didn't go the way it planned. But you've all seen what happened in the chat, right? So thank you for being understanding, because I'm actually quite pissed myself. I just want to let you know. This stream meant, look, the first stream I did meant so much to me. I didn't monetize. I haven't even monetized this. And we ended up talking about something different. But I didn't even monetize this because this is how much this means. I'm not going to monetize people's hurt and anger and the stories they have to tell, right? I wasn't going to do that. I don't do that. I get a bad rep in this fandom, and yeah, sometimes I don't do myself favors, right? But I can tell you now, and this is not, I'm telling you, and this is not me just saying this, I am an understanding bloke. I do want to do good. And I never wanted any of this bullshit in the fandom to happen. Nobody did. Nobody predicted that it could anyway end up like this. Right? All I've ever tried to do is do good. And I thought by doing that first stream, if I brought awareness to this fandom, that maybe the fandom could just, even people that didn't like me, just come in and watch the stream and hear the stories and think, well, yeah, maybe I should change the way I talk to these people that don't like Jodie Whittaker or like the TV show. Maybe I should understand that they are going through something. And at the same time, I was hoping that we could help a lot of people that are afraid to actually come forward and say they've been abused and stuff, and give them the courage to tell their stories. Or even give the courage to people that are listening out there that are probably suffering at home right now with domestic violence or whatever it is, and give them the courage to go to the police. That's all I want. I just want to make what hurts me is and is upsetting me is this. It doesn't matter what side of the fandom it is, right? And I know the other side are awful. But what's it going to take for people to cop on in this fandom? How many people do we have to lose to suicide before people say, hey, that's enough? Because I think one is too many anyway. And it could happen. And I don't know if it has actually happened in the Doctor Who fandom. If it has happened in the Doctor Who fandom. But it could. And we don't want that to happen. It's a fucking TV show. It just needs to all stop. So next week, if you want to come on, if you've got the courage to come on, because don't get me wrong, it takes a lot of courage to tell the world what you've been through. But if you do have that courage to do so, 6 o'clock next Wednesday, UK time. If you don't feel up to coming on, but you still want to share your story in some capacity, I would say leave a comment in the chat. We will make sure that it's subscriber only, so chat only, so everybody will feel safe telling the stories. And don't worry, the moderators will be on it that day, like they were today. I told them just to back off because I wanted to see the comments that we were getting. But the moderators are always on it, and they will be on it that day. We will not be tolerating any nonsense next week. So maybe this week was a bit too quick because I had only announced it a few days back. Maybe it was a bit quick to do it, or maybe too early to do it this week. Maybe next week will be a better week for everybody to do it. So next Thursday, 6 o'clock here. If you want to share your story, please do come on. If you don't, share your story in the chat. And if you have a bit of advice to give anybody out there that is listening, that is suffering right now at the moment, and you've got any advice that you can give those people, I will encourage that too. Because, you know, we want to be able to reach people and say to people, hey, there is hope. There is hope. You're not alone. You know, we all, everybody on this planet suffers for some form of depression. And especially during these last few years that we've had where we've all been locked down, right? Mental health has taken a pounding, right? So a lot of people are already frazzled. And then you get people on the social media then adding to that. It is going to end up with something bad happening. And I want to do my part to try and stop that from happening. And people might say it's a lost cause or I'm a hypocrite. All I've ever done is defend myself against these people that have attacked me, right? If that makes me a hypocrite, then fine, I'll wear that badge of honor. But now it's time to stop all of this nonsense. It's just time to stop. If you like this era, fine. And nobody has the right to bully you for liking it. And I've never bullied anybody for liking it. And I don't care what those fans are. He's bullied people. No, I haven't. Right? I mightn't agree with your comment that you've made. You like Jodie Whittaker better than William Hartnell or whatever like that, just to rile people up. Of course, I'll answer to that. But I'm not bullying you when I reply to that. I'm saying, no, William Hartnell is the doctor and Jodie isn't. That's my opinion, but I'm not bullying you. You literally come and attack me for my opinions. That's the difference. But all of that has to stop. Everybody has to stop. It's a TV show. Right? There's a lot of worse shit happening in the world right now that everybody should be worried about. Not worried about this. Or worried about a TV show, I should say. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. And I just want to apologize that this didn't turn into the stream that we wanted it. But some people wanted to come in and start accusing me of stuff because I support Noel Clarke and try have me stream taken down. It turned into a Noel Clarke stream. So we're going to change the heading of this video. And as I said, next week, we have touched on the mental health, but not as much as I wanted to. So next week, as I said, right, same time, 6 o'clock, next Thursday, we're doing this stream. It won't be monetized, just like this one wasn't, because we thought it was going to be a mental health stream. It won't be monetized, and it'll be subscriber chat only, right? It'll be subscriber chat only. So if you want to come on live here and tell your story, right, and tell people how it's had an impact on you, how it's affected you, if it's affected family members, right? And what advice, you give advice to people out there that are probably suffering as well, because you've been through. So if anybody can give advice, I think it's the people that have been through it and suffered. I think people can. And again, as I said, if you're not willing to come on because it's still raw, and you wouldn't find it easy to talk about on stream, if you want to put it in the chat and I'll throw it up and I'll read it out on your behalf and share your experience. So we'll do this next week properly. And to all those people that derailed this stream because you wanted to call me out for defending Noel Clarke and calling him innocent, You really are vile pieces of crap to come in here when I was trying to do something good on behalf of mental health awareness, and he's decided to come in and accuse me of being an SA or an SP for defending Noel Clarke. You really are sad and pathetic, and yous are the reason why there's a mental health crisis in our fandom and in society. Anyway, it's nice to see Gobby pop in, and it's all right about the family do. You didn't miss out on me. The stream got derailed, so we'll be doing it next week. I'll fill you in anyway. I'll fill you in what happened, but next week. So if that's giving everybody plenty of time now. So next week, let me know. Anyway, I'm gonna change the headline for this fucking video now to Justice for Noel fucking Clarke, because that's the way it turned out. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow because we've got some stuff to talk about tomorrow. Some serious stuff, light-hearted stuff, and something very interesting coming in the Doctor Who magazine. And there's something going on with the Doctor Who social media account. Something big is on the way, and we're going to be talking about all of that tomorrow on the TARDIS Zone Talks. So come and join us tomorrow. We will probably stream, what's a Friday? Yeah. So we'll probably be streaming early, around 6 or 7 o'clock. I'll put the stream up beforehand. You will see it there. It'll be up an hour beforehand anyway. So if we're starting at 6, it'll be up at 5. If we're starting at 7, it'll be up at 6. So yeah. So join me for that, because we've got some stuff to talk about, because a Doctor Who actress has made some serious accusations about the industry, and we have to talk about it. We've also got some stuff I said about Doctor Who to talk about as well. And there is an article that was covering, the premiere, and there's a journalist out there. His name is Lorenzo. I know his name off by heart, because this fella has just been savage. He was absolutely savage. So we've got his article to read. It's a very short article. It'll literally take me 2 minutes to read, and not even that, right? But come and join me for that as well, because there's something big going on with Doctor Who and the magazine, because I have a little screenshot of something I've got to show you tomorrow. And as I said, we've got all that other stuff. No, this is another Doctor Who actress. Everybody loves her. Actually, everybody makes comments on how hot she is, so I think you know who I'm talking about. But yeah, she's come out to say she's been sexually harassed. So we're gonna look into that article and talk about it, because no matter what people actually say, that think I'm a scumbag for defending Noel Clarke. I'm not. He's innocent. The police have deemed him innocent. But there's another now. An actress is at to coming forward to say that the industry, that she's been basically sexually assaulted in the industry for years, and it still happens even to this day. And she turned down a role because they told her that she had to get naked in it and have sex in a certain scene, and she refused. So we'll be talking about that because it's connected to Doctor Who. She was an actress on Doctor Who. Now, want to make clear, she's not accusing anybody on Doctor Who of any of this whatsoever. These are projects away from Doctor Who. I want to make that clear. She's not accusing anybody on Doctor Who. No, it's an old companion. Jesus, I'll stop guessing and wait until tomorrow. Wait until tomorrow.
It's me.
They're all guessing. Wait until tomorrow, right? Jesus Christ.
It's always me.
All right, you just want to know who it is.
Someone else can do a whole
Right, I'll tell you who it is, because she's doing me head in. I'm only messing. Here, I'll tell you I'll tell you who it is. It's not Billy Piper. Oh my God, the guesses. I said, right, classic companion. Classic companion. Why are you all naming New Who companions? Classic. Think of the, right. Here's a clue for you. It's one of Rabbi's favorite companions. It's one of Rabbi's favorite companions. I know you know who it is.
Sort this out.
What did we get?
No, these are things that we either need to get rid of if they don't work. Or
Okay, but why? Right, but
because
what?
they're annoying me because I was looking at
Okay,
letters.
well, I'm actually missing me football match as well because I'm still
This is
random.
not my fault.
Yes, now you've got the feckin' Jesus Christ, man. Yes, unfortunately, she's come out and she has said that this has happened to her quite a lot, but nothing to do with Doctor Who. Nothing to do with Doctor Who. And I'll just show you actually the headline before we do go actually. Hold on. Hold on. I'll get this article ready tonight as well, actually, because I'll have to have everything. I'd like to get everything ready now.
This is the mini one that.
Yeah, no problem. There's still no word anyway, Cheryl.
That's not what I'm out here.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
I'm going to color now. Do not throw up my mood.
Right, but I'm just saying.
But I'm going to color. Don't throw up my mood.
Why isn't this? Hold on now. I actually put up a screenshot on my Twitter. I don't even know why I'm there. So here's the headline. And you know what? Here's the sad thing about it. The fact that Nicola is the one that's coming out to make the accusation, I have to say, I believe her. I have to say, because I follow her on Twitter. I've been following her a long time, and she comes across as the most genuine, honest person. People have said some lovely things. So she says, they'd offered me 2 sitcoms if I slept with them. Doctor Who star Nicola Bryant, 62, claims she's had her fair share of sexual harassment. TV bosses apparently pestered her for services. If she completed those services, she would then be given the job. So quite shocking there. So yeah, we'll be talking about that, and we'll be talking about all the other stuff that I just mentioned anyway. So that'll be tomorrow, TARDIS Zone Talks. Come and join me, because it's going to be a bit of a, well, it will be a good one, because there's some other news in there as well, some interesting news as well. But I want to cover this because, she's just said that she was offered 2 sitcoms. We could have seen Nicola on TV, and the only reason why we didn't, because there was dirty TV producers out there or whatever. Absolutely disgusting. Anyway, that's something to talk about tomorrow. And yeah, so don't forget that stream next week. We'll make it a subscribers only chat so everybody can feel safe. If you want to take part, turn up. If you want to send me a message beforehand to let me know, or if you want to actually share your experience to me by DM, please do. Or in the comment section of this video, and I'll read it out next week. I will read it out next week for you, okay? If you don't want to come on. For people that do want to come on, remember the time is 6 o'clock next Thursday. So come and join me for that. I'm going to change the heading to this bloody video now, this stream now, because it turned into something that we didn't want it to. She seems a lovely person. She is. She does. She is. And she made it quite clear when I follow. She'll let anybody follow her. And the only thing that she asks is that nobody brings drama to her Twitter account. And I think that's fair enough. And I think Kathy has been the same as well. Just you can follow her, but just don't bring the drama to her Twitter account. Anyway, I'm gonna go now because Cheryl does it. I'm still middle in stream here. Could you just wait for a minute to hear, woman, please? Like, we'll finish.
Need batteries.
I don't care if you need. What do you need batteries for? What did you break?
I don't know.
Oh, she broke something. I better go. See this? Women and electricals. Shh. Anyway, I'll get into trouble for that one. Oh, that's sexist. Anyway, she's brutal with plugs and batteries and stuff, so I better sort it out before she electrocutes herself. So thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thanks for all the support as usual, and we will be back here tomorrow. So until then, enjoy your evening or your afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, look after yourselves, and enjoy the rest of your day. See you later, folks. Bye.